We'll give it another 30 seconds or so, and then we'll get cracking. Leave it a little bit of time for the stragglers to come and join. Yep, this time seems to be working for a few people. We've got a few evenings and a few mornings in the chats, and perhaps some afternoons. Got an awesome little live, I think, to go through soon, so let's go. Let's get cracking, team. Let's get cracking. I think we're good, so let's get cracking. All right, happy Bitcoin all-time high. We made it. We made it. So start off with the dominance. The dominance is finally doing what we wanted to do. It is dropping like it's hot. We have now completely invalidated the buying pressure area that we talked about for quite a bit. This was obviously the last bit of liquidity. And now what we're going to see, we're likely going to see this kind of movement. We will face some buying pressure down here around the 55-ish %. But by then, I expect alts would have already had a nice big run. So we're gearing up in the next couple of week or so, I say. This is on the 3 days, so call it a month of August if you like, to see some really nice big drop, hopefully, for Bitcoin dominance, which in return leaves us with the likes of any trades worth taking. Yeah, we'll get through it, bud. We'll get through it. We're just starting now, so let's we always take a look at the macro first, so we have an idea of where we are, and then we'll just drill down. So looking at the Bitcoin dominance is finally dropping. That leaves us obviously with ETH BTC going up. Now there will be a retracement. Okay, this thing is obviously now just going up because Bitcoin dominance is just going down, but we will have a retracement. We will have a pullback. It's normal. There will be an up, which means there will be a down in this specific chart. And when we see the retracement is when we will effectively have a bit more time to set up probably some of the last important trades that we're going to be able to take in this bull. So this is what we are looking for. At least I know I am. I'm looking forward I'm really looking forward to this pullback right here. I don't know how shallow or how deep it will be. This is just obviously guessing work there, but we'll definitely be on high alert. So with the dominance game, I wanted to quickly run through SOLETH and the thesis. We obviously have a very, very strong Ethereum at the moment. We can all see it. It's pushing all-time high being here. We're probably going to see in the next, I'll say, maybe day or so, day or 2 days, I reckon. Maybe even today, who knows. There's 25 minutes here, so I don't think we're going to cover that much ground just yet, but it wouldn't surprise me if we do one last push before we try to reverse. So ETH is really taking the dominance, the driving seat here at the moment. And with that, obviously, anything against ETH, such as Solana and Ethereum, has a place to potentially give us some nice increases. And you can see here, we have a very, very, let me just put it here so we can see it. This is on a daily. We can see we have a very big expansion followed by a very nice healthy retracement. And this is where we are now. And if you look at the fibs, we are sitting in the 786, 886 area as we speak. Now, there is a chance that this chart may potentially come back and take out these lows. Always a chance of that. But the upside, I think we can all agree in the chat, is definitely brighter than the downside, right? Like, we're not going to see Solana losing this much ground. I think we pretty much all can agree with that. You never know in crypto, but I wouldn't personally bid on Solana dropping that much of market share towards ETH. So what I'm expecting and what I'm bidding is basically a reversal of Solana dominance against ETH. So personally, I am swapping, like I said yesterday in the chat, Ethereum at this level. And if it does go lower, so be it. You know, I'll swap a little bit more. But I think the gain, in this case, just coming up to these highs, is definitely worth the biscuit in this case. So swapping some ETH here, not a bad idea. Some Solana here, sorry, some Ethereum for Solana, to then eventually swap Solana back into Ethereum at a 50% gain is the game that I'm going to play. So this allows me and anyone that follows the dominance plays to increase my Ethereum holding, because you can see this is a Solana versus Ethereum. So this allows me to increase my Ethereum holdings without having to deploy new capital. So I'm not acquiring more. I'm basically just increasing my Ethereum holding. So if I swap one Ethereum today and I swap back again up here, that means that my one Ethereum will be, see how good are you guys in math? So if I swap here today and I get up there, what would be my 1.4? That's correct. So I will have basically just made, so smart Patty, so smart mate, love it. You will have, out of thin air, made an extra 0.5 ETH. You haven't bought it. You simply swapped it for Solana, which in this case has outperformed in market dominance, in market cap dominance, Ethereum, and then you swap back into ETH. So this kind of plays a little bit risky, of course, because if it does go down, you are exposing yourself to the opposite of that, which is obviously you lose. But such is the game of trading, right? Like there's risks involved in anything. So that's why I like to do this kind of plays with very strong assets that I'm happy to hold regardless. And the thesis is, even if we do go down and I'm stuck per se holding Solana down here, GM copy, love having you here, mate. Thank you for tuning in. Even if I'm stuck holding Sol at this bottom level, well, you know, I'm still bullish on Solana overall. So the price of Sol will likely make up for whatever I have lost per se down here. So I do this kind of plays. I've done them successfully with XRP against ETH. With if you guys follow me, we did an insane play with XRP against BTC. That was like last year or a little bit more ago. And now it's time for me to look at this. Sorry, I just got my low chill music, but I'll put it down. Here we go. Is it better? Not getting a massage here, but if it's annoying the music, I'll just turn it down. I like to have a bit of chill music. What I was saying is now it's time to definitely look at these plays again, in my opinion. And my ultimate goal is to stack Ethereum, to stack Bitcoin. Those are my two main assets. And obviously, if I'm stuck holding Solana and XRP, so be it. XRP is still one of my largest holding at the moment, so not a problem at all. Okay, I'll turn it back up then if it's not annoying. So this is what's my next play is going to be. Team Solana against ETH, and as well as that, I've got Maker against ETH, and you can probably see why. So the chart for Maker against ETH is pretty grim, right? Like we can all see, I think. So it's down, 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 and you can see I did this play up here. So I swap one ETH and I swap it for 1.3. Same thing. So I'm literally just going to do the same exact play now. So Maker against ETH, I'm basically bidding that from this level. We're going to come back up here and I'm going to increase my holding. So I'll probably do a 60-40 split. And this will have to coincide with Ethereum dominance slowly coming back down. Okay, so that's kind of I wanted to run you through the play that I shared in the Discord and the logic behind it, so you guys understand why I'm looking at these plays instead of against USD or USDT or USDC. Why I'm looking at dominance play. So that's the logic behind it. With that out of the way, we can finally go probably into what a few of you want to know, which is what are we looking at today. So Bitcoin all-time high. There's not much that we can look at the moment. There's this thing, you know, we're in price discovery. We've taken out the previous high. We are now in uncharted territory. Definitely not going to try to short Bitcoin at this stage. Let it do its thing. Let it go up. You know, there is a psychological level coming up very shortly, which is the $125,000. And this $125,000 will be a very important level because it's not only 100, but it's also a quarter of 100. So for algorithms that trade, and institution do trades algorithm more than anything, it will be a very big psychological level. If I was to bid for a potential reversal or correction, it will be just before the 125. So look out for the 124 900 or thereabouts, because you might get front run a little bit. So you will avoid getting front run that way. So that will be just my call out, but definitely don't try to short just out of this thesis, because it will not stack up. We always want to short based on structure. So when we saw market structure breaking, making lower highs and lower lows, then we enter with our trade. So Bitcoin at the moment, nothing to see there. Just let it do its thing, and then we'll take a look on the lower time frame. Let's take a look at Ethereum. Ethereum also going for all-time high. So we've got Ethereum and Bitcoin at the same time, nearing all-time highs. Chances are Ethereum is gonna get it probably. Yeah, look, there's 17 minutes at the end of this daily candle. I don't think we might get it just yet, but it will definitely be today. So when has that happened before? Great stats to go and look into it, but definitely is telling us one of two things. Well, number one is telling us that the attention is here. So what would be cool to do is go on Google and look up searches and look up the search of keywords such as Bitcoin or Ethereum, and have a quick look as how many people are actually searching these terms. I've got a feeling that the retail, like as we want to see retail, we are retail ourselves, mind you, but the norm is have not entered the chat yet. I think they will very soon, but I think we are not there just yet. However, I will say this, and I want to say it on record. I do think we are very much nearing the time. There you go, 4th of November 2021. So I want to say this out loud. I think we are nearing the top. This is not the top, I think. Not yet, because there's still a few things that need to be ticked off. But we are certainly nearing the top. So it is taking profit season, and I see your comment in the chat, Pat. Am I looking to sell BTC and ETH into stable before this bear? A portion. I will look at selling a portion of my Bitcoin and a portion of my ETH, and I will cash in pretty much everything in terms of my alts holding. I will cash it in, not in stables, but I'll effectively convert it into Bitcoin that way. So my goal personally, and mind you, we all have different goals, is to stack up as much Bitcoin and as much Ethereum as possible. I do think the next run, obviously we have three years still to go into this cycle. The next cycle will be the one where I think we'll see potentially crazy Bitcoin prices. We're not there yet. I think, you know, if we see 150 this cycle, it will be a blessing. I don't think we'll see, you know, the 200 like some people call. 150 will be a blessing, I think, for this cycle. But yeah, give it 4 years time, and I think we'll have to add a zero to that. So at the end, I do think we'll see, you know, the 7-figure Bitcoin in a few years. So with that in mind, I'm playing the long term. I'm an investor, as you guys know. I don't really spend too much time on lower time frame. So in 4 years time, that's when my goal for now, just stack Bitcoin, and I will cash in all of my beautiful altcoins, which I'm not really attached to it, but they're there for a reason. They're there just to increase my holdings of Bitcoin and ETC and ETH BTC. I hope that answers your question, Pat. So we've had a look at it. BTC all-time high already. ETH all-time high probably tomorrow, I'll say. Whereas Solana, and I know this sounds a little bit crazy. Why, Aussie? Why are you shorting Sol if everything's just going all-time high? Well, because I'll run you through the logic. So first of all, if you're a serious trader and you want to trade seriously, you have to have a plan. Do we all agree? Yes or no in the chat? Do we follow a trade plan? Yes. What is more important? Is it more important to take a trade because you're following a plan, or is it more important to take a trade because outside influences are telling it to you? You know, there's always going to be distractions, mind you, always. I personally take trade based on my plan. If I am right, I am right. If I am wrong, I am wrong. Cut the noise. I'm not listening to anyone else but myself. That's my plan that I've developed, you know, in a number of years that I've traded, and that is my Bible. Okay, I'm a religious man, and that my trading Bible is my plan. I stick to my plan, and my plan is whenever you see these kind of candles, okay, whenever you see institutional candles, which you know by now what they are if you've been following me, you take the plan, you take the trade. Your plan is telling you to take the trade, and you take it. So first entry was down here. Second entry was a 50% of this candle, which got tapped, and now we're dancing at that second entry right there. If we look at macro level, right? This is what Solana looks like. We are at a selling pressure level, you can see. And selling pressure, when you see this kind of selling pressure that I'm doing, all it is a fib from the high to the low, right? We are sitting at important Fibonacci levels. So I want to drag this level out, and you can see we had already the big reaction there at this, in this candle. We had a big sell-off. We're now retesting this level, and I'm still going to try to play off that level. The next big level for Solana that I'm going to be looking at selling is going to be around the 250, just under 250. Okay, so that's a macro. On a micro 4 hour, this is the candle that got my attention. We were just here now. So this buy to sell move, we didn't quite get back and mitigate it properly. We got back into this candle, but we are here now, and we are starting to see, I think on the lower time frame, some indecision. Yeah, can we all see we are forming liquidity down here? Yes, I'm short. I'm currently short on Sol. I got two positions open, one here, which is obviously under in drawdown, and one here, which is currently a little bit in profit. So I'd say entry one and entry two. I always have two positions open when I do entry one and entry two for that reason. If we come back up here, obviously I'll close the weaker entry, and I'll just let the better entry run for that reason. But important point, liquidity. What do we do? Do we bounce off liquidity and take the longs like most of YouTube retail tells you to do? Or do we want to see that liquidity grab? Yeah? I think it's clicking now. We see this as a magnet. And I know that you guys love when I do this. So there. That's what we're looking at. Okay? That's a magnet. We are waiting for that liquidity to be tested. So this is just a matter of time. It will be taken out. And look, TP1, if you are here, if you enter with me on entry 2, TP1 will likely be here. Okay, so we will take profit when we get into this order block, likely. I'll call it out, and we will cover entry. So we will basically be riding risk free. And if the market decides to reverse, no problem. We are covered and we take a profit already. Okay, so this is an important part of having a plan. Stick to your plan, don't listen to anyone else. The 15 minutes also gave me confidence in this setup when I was looking at the behavior of the 15 minutes chart, which is obviously on a lower time frame. Similar situation here. You can see consolidation, market moving sideways here. What do we have up here? We have what's called a spring. If you do Wyckoff or Wyckoff, or if you just do smart money, this is basically a liquidation event. Big buy to sell. You can see that candle. Can you see the white candle right here? And then boom, back down. And now we're revisiting this candle. So if you didn't get in here, you have a chance right now, as we speak, to re-enter into this short if you want. Obviously, I'm not telling you to do anything because this is your money. Do what you want. Not financial advice. But yes, I do like this short on Sol, and I'm taking it because it follows my plan. I just wanted to make this very, very clear. Okay, so I trade my plan, and look, I'll even do this just so we can go back. This is the candle that I'm going to highlight for you guys. If you didn't get it, this is the candle right here, and I'll make it a little bit more orangey there so you can see it. Okay, so it's pretty, like, once you have a plan that works for you, you have to be able to execute it quickly. You don't want to think too much about it. By the time you think, how many confirmation does your plan have? That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. Like, go back and think of trading as a business. How many confirmation does your trading plan has? How long does it take me to tick all the boxes before I take a trade? It needs to be simple. I don't need to have to rely on 10, 15 indicators. I don't need to have to rely on X internet or social media sentiment. I don't have time for that, you know. I just want to trade the charts, and I take the setups, and when I see them, I take them, and I'm confident. And guess what? If I'm wrong, that's fine. Market will tell me that if I'm wrong. I'd rather be wrong quick as well. So I love when I'm wrong and the market just absolutely obliterates me in the opposite direction, because that means that I was completely wrong, and that's it. There was something there for me to learn. Okay, so we had a look at Bitcoin, we had a look at Ethereum, we had a look at Solana. Solana is a valid current live trade. Let's take a look at our fourth, obviously, of the big four, which is XRP. What is XRP doing? So XRP had a major harmonic, right? We can all see it. Came into the level, we called it. This, if you remember a few weeks ago, we called it, and boom. Now XRP had a really similar setup, and I didn't call it for you guys because let me show you. You can see this candle right here was of interest, but this push up left behind way too many imbalances. So I knew we were going to come back down here eventually. If you go onto the 1 hour though, and this is where it gets really interesting, you can see same pattern, right? Same pattern. Liquidity, grab, manipulation, spring, whatever you want to call it, liquidation, sell-off, retest. What about now? Well, now technically this candle right here could give us a short as well for XRP, but I'm not calling it because I don't want to be in too many trades. So when you see me, sometimes I've got charts that I don't call. Well, I just mark them up anyway. But I always try to take and call for you guys the setup that's got the best risk to reward. Okay, so if I was to take a setup here for XRP, I would need to factor in the fact that there is equal highs up here. So my stop would need to be above those. And if you look to the left, there's also equal highs here. So not the greatest risk to reward, and I would have to go somewhere here. So it's a 1 to 2, right? And if I was to do it now, maybe it's a 1 to 2.5. So not ideal. We could potentially come back into this imbalance down here, into this candle right here, but I am not too confident. So XRP also loves to wick, and I think we can all see this, and we've covered it extensively in previous lives. Loves to wick up and down. So and the reason is it's very much a centralized. It's a much more centralized pair than, say, Solana. Well, I mean, they're also centralized anyway, but you can see that the wicks are usually manipulation, so it's very manipulated as a pair. Which doesn't mean we're not going to make money out of it. We love sometimes the manipulation because it allows us to enter, you know, out of some imbalances and things like that. But just something to be aware of. It can also work against you, right? It can also work against you. So you can see here, beautiful candle, entry was right there. The body didn't even make it, and that was a beautiful short down there. So I'm not going to take XRP. I'm going to stick to Sol. I've got one trade open at the moment, and it's my Solana short. You can see the risk to reward is much better. Now, let's take a look at some of the live trades that we have at the moment. So these are all trades, and if you have questions in the chat, of course, feel free to ask them. This was a Tau trade that we called on the 7th of August. What was that? Last week, exactly. So this was called last week. Zero drawdown whatsoever. Enter it. And now I would say, you know, if you haven't taken some profit already, which you should have, take some off the table now, because we might start to see a little bit of a retracement. What are my partials on Sol? So I've got the TP1, 2, and 3 of the entry 1, but for entry 2, it would have to be, I'll clean it up here so you can see it. For entry 2 would be that 190, what is that, 196. I will want to do it not at the wick, but at the body. 196.22. So it will be 196.22, and then down here 186, 181, and 173. Yeah. So TP1 will be down here, 196. So back onto Tau. If you are into this live trade, get good. You've got a great risk to reward already. You had zero drawdown, so your entry should already be covered. Okay, meaning your stop loss should be at break even. And now it's time to take some profit. So similar situation on grass, where we pretty much had zero drawdown. We barely retested the entry there, but I do expect grass to be a bit of a sleeper at the moment. That you can just see on the higher time frame. Got a new mouse, which is fantastic, but it keeps going everywhere. There it is. Okay, cool. Look at this chart. This is a pair. Grass is obviously a project that is still very much working. You can see I've got it actually running in the back in somewhere up here. It's doing its thing. We've got a little airdrop, nothing crazy, but why take a first partial so fast? Because in case it does reverse, market does reverse, you need to get into the habit pattern to first of all pay yourself. And also, don't get too attached to, you know, it's TP3 or nothing else. Like, that's not how it works. Successful traders are able to take partials at TP1, at TP2, at TP3, and you can leave a trade open, you know, for a runner. But it's the same, like, we trade crypto, and crypto is highly volatile. If it was Forex, different story. I would tell you, you know, I barely have any TP1s and TP2s in Forex. I just have one take profit. But for TP1, yeah, well, Osama, I actually bought heavily personally. I don't mind disclosing it. I bought quite heavily on grass here for spot. So that was one of my biggest buy, and it was the other day when I called it out. So, but yeah, going back to you, Pad, get in the habit of taking TP1, and you don't have to if you don't want to. But what happens if it does reverse and it takes you out at break even with zero profit? Would you be upset? If you're not, then go for it. It's your, yeah, because you're playing with less size. That's correct. So some, you know, playing with $5-10 is a bit different than playing with $5,000 or $10,000 or 500, or you know, like you get the idea. So yes, grass definitely for me, Magic Eden, yes, it's a great project as well. It's just I just can't get behind anything NFT aside from my quirky jumper that you probably see in the recording if you're live. But it's, yeah, I can't get into NFTs or NFT markets or anything like that. I think that ship is sailed, and you know, it cost me many too much money. But yeah, I'd rather see something like this, which is a project making revenue, you know, data driven. It just ticks more boxes. So for me, grass is a no-brainer at this level. And another AI play or tech play for me, which is an absolute sleeper and has been, is ICP. So ICP is something that I called in the past, and you can see I had my DCA zone, which is basically here. We are in the DCA zone still, but if you trade smart money, or if you, and I'm sure that Cappy will love this, you can probably see what's happening here. What are we doing, fam? Let me know in the chat. What are we doing? We're ranging, right? We are ranging. And when we're ranging, all we're doing is we're creating what? That's right. We are in accumulation phase. We're building liquidity. And guess what happens? Liquidity gets taken out. So we could see something like this happen. We could see something like this happen, where there's a spring, okay, or liquidity grab or liquidation event. So what we want to see is this is accumulation. Distribution is when it's at the top, so we're distributing, and down here we're accumulating. What we're seeing is it's all the same though. The concept is exactly the same. We're building liquidity up and down, which tells me that ICP is going to be making a move real soon. And the $6 ICP won't be there for long. Next targets, next targets, next targets. Now, we all know, I don't know if you guys know this. I know if you're an OG, you probably know. ICP was up here. We were at 5 Angies. That is not gonna happen, okay? So it's not gonna. This was venture capitalist money. Yeah, that's right. Started off at hundreds of dollars, hundreds. We had a lot of VC money that obviously took their profit and exited the project. I'm not looking for a $500 ICP again, but if I can buy a 6, and all of a sudden we're going back into the 20s. Okay, well that's solid. Why not go? We can easily go back into the 30s. We can easily go back into the 50s. So it's good 10x potentially for ICP. The project is great. It's got one of the very few working products. So the AI model, which is all blockchain based, is actually working. Is producing. It's working on the blockchain, which is fantastic. So yeah, this is a no-brainer for me. I've been stacking ICP quietly. This is a sleeper. You know, give it a couple of years, and I think we'll be laughing. So, couple of plays there for you guys to look at. There is also another open trades currently, which we called out, and that was BONK. I think he either hit full TP or it's just about. Let's have a look. It's really slow. No, it's moving very slowly. But yeah, same thing. So I'm expecting memes to run it up a little bit, of course. But with BONK, I will probably say maybe reduce risk a little bit. So if our stop loss is down here, I'll probably move I will do what's called a trailing stop loss. So I move my stop loss closer to the previous low on a 4-hour. Okay, so I'll probably move my stop loss there for BONK if you are in BONK. So I just wanted to call that out, okay? So a few trades there. Let's have a look at some stocks. So let's have a look. Who's on chat? I was trying to see if we had Kurt. I don't think he's on live, but he was asking about Snap. What do I do with Snap? I've got an option open personally on Snap. Option open until January 2027. So that's I think in the long term this stock will absolutely shine. The reason for such a big drop was that there's a rumor for an investigation. They came out with negative earnings, so this doesn't faze me at all. If anything, it allows me to buy some more at $7.30. To then obviously I'm looking at, these are my TPs up here, up here, up here. So we're looking at a 2 to 2.5, potentially 3x on Snapchat. So not worried. Started to move up already. FUD happens. Really, if you look at it on a higher time frame, all we did was retest the lows. So that's one of the reasons why I don't listen to FUD, to news, because the charts will tell you everything you need to know. That's all we did. We retested it, and that's it. One that I will make a move now. I don't know if I'm gonna wait. I said on RIVN I wanted to see if we were coming down here and take this out. I think I'll initiate a spot or portfolio play a RIVN at these levels, just so that I've got some exposure. I will not take an option on this until we come back down here, and we do take this liquidity trend line. But for portfolio, I will initiate a position again at $12 here for RIVN. So I don't mind stacking up a little bit here, a little bit here, and a little bit here if we come lower. But RIVN, which is obviously US based electric automotive company, I do think it's going to give us some nice risk to reward. Big fair value gaps up here. You can see them at $23. So easy 2x for me. Now, there's 3 stocks that I mentioned recently. I will check out Magic Eden and Osama, no dramas. I'll just finish up with the stocks first. CROX. Ugly as, but hey, look at that. Hey, we literally just called them the other day when we were down here. CROX is not gonna stay down for long, fam. Like this is the time, and I don't even think we'll come back here on the 786. This was a front run. I think 786 will likely not get tapped for CROX, and you can see this was the low and the the low and the high. So big retracement down. I think this is it. I think now we start to see some move back up on CROX. So earnings are positive. You know, there's obviously FUD with the tariffs and whatnot, but yeah, there's absolutely 70 is bad. So yes, CROX is not going to really get much lower. I think we won't see a $44 CROX, and entering at $7, or when we call it was a 71, so today we're already at $80. I think this will easily go back into the 160. So not crypto though. I wasn't doing crypto back then, so unfortunately I've got my experience lies mostly on forex and whatnot. So believe it or not, crypto is my second affair, not my first. Two stocks. Okay, Figma. Have you heard of Figma before? Write in the chat. Have you heard of Figma before? Do you know what Figma is? I want to know something. I want to see if the normies, and you guys are normies because you're here. Yes. Nope. Okay, cool. We got some yes, we got some nopes. Figma is effectively for, yes, that's correct, Recursive. It's for the web designing or website designing, but really what Figma does is basically, it's like Canva, okay? And if you're in the stock game, you know how Canva has absolutely obliterated any any prediction. Like they've done extremely well for themselves. Figma is the new Canva, and this stock and the next one just recently launched. So they basically went through a process called IPO, where they raised money and evaluation, and then they opened to the public. And the IPO price, I think, was $33. Investors got in for the IPO, so it was down here, and market opened at $90. So instantly, institutions, smart money, people that had access to the IPO, which is not everyone, open up at a 3x. And what happens when there's an IPO and you're up 3x? You tend to take some profit, right? Just to be like, it's same as meme coin. If you have an airdrop, what do? You take profit and price retrace. Now, this company, I believe long term. I'm in the industry myself. I'm a full stack dev, so I'm a developer. This company will do well, but I just want to see where the base forms. Does it form here? Do we retrace lower? We're definitely not gonna go back to IPO pricing. I'm almost certain of it. So I'd love to see where we form a base. But put this stock on your watch list. We will likely enter a position soon once I see some signal of slowing down and potentially like even a double bottom forming or something similar. And we look at definitely putting this on our radar. Okay. Second one that just launched yesterday, Bullish. Now, Bullish is a company that basically works with institution. Like this company was backed by BlackRock, you name it, like big institution, and basically it just brings crypto to the normies. They own Coin, what is that? What's the name of the website? CoinSpot, or one of those crypto websites anyway. So they have a double dipping in terms of revenue. They have the media revenue. They have obviously adoption revenue for crypto. They absolutely obliterated once again. They think this one, I think the IPO was at $44 and they opened up at 95, so 2x. Similar to this, it only opened up yesterday, so we need to see where the bottom forms, and we'll likely enter a position here. Okay, so just wanted to run you guys through what the IPO process is and what do we do with this. You can see these are the new stocks. See, like it's this thing, CoinDesk. That's the name of the website that they own. They own CoinDesk. Okay, so definitely put BLSH on our radar as well. And there's not a lot of data. It just opened literally 4 hours ago. So just nothing there for us to go through, right? We want to see where and when it starts to slow down, and likely we have a spring, right? We'll take out liquidity and then we'll start to move up. So I should have bought Palante. Yeah, I know, right? Like, in hindsight is a beautiful thing, but we can't go back in time just yet. So we just have to see what the next, stick to a thesis. And for me, the thesis is obviously crypto adoption. This is my main thesis when looking at stock. Crypto adoption is going to happen. It's already here. AI is not going anywhere. Things that are going to, like fashion, CROX, it's not going anywhere. Unfortunately, some of these are war related. You can see ONDS, RCAT. So these are kind of like drone related companies that I've been looking at, and I've called a few of them. And if you guys took them, you're up something like 150% just in a few weeks. Yeah, OpenAI IPO soon. That's right. That's right. Company that was meant to be public, remember? My stocks, I don't know. My stocks always take so long to load because I have to load all the data. So I apologize, it's taking a long time. But anyway, look, what I'm trying to say is, if you took some of these calls, you're absolutely up silly. Because like if you look at RCAT, for example, we called it, I think it was like 2 weeks ago. Is that RCAT? No, it was an RCAT. Yes, it was. So you're up already nicely. ONDS called it as well. You're up silly. I think the call was here. I want to say it was somewhere there. Let's have a look. It will load. Yep, actually it was here. There you go. So you're up 160% in a month. Not bad on a stock play, hey? So it's good to diversify. Don't put all of your eggs in one basket. It's great to be in crypto. And I know that I was chatting with some of you guys. Like we need to start looking at how to rotate some of the profits, right? Some of the profits that we're gonna make this cycle, we need to learn how to rotate them. And for me, some of the stocks are absolutely no-brainer. So I will, instead of just holding cash, I don't like to hold cash. Cash is just there sitting, earning me, bugger all percent on a bank, 3, 4, 5%, depending where you are. I'd rather just invest it in something that appreciates in time, and potentially even that gives me dividends, right? That pays me. I like to put my money at work. So I like stocks which do have a dividends, and then you reinvest the dividends, so it just does it for itself, and it's pretty good. That way you just build up your portfolio. And some people absolutely just trade stocks with dividends, and they build multi-million-dollar portfolios, and they can pretty much retire just with dividends. I'm not there. That's not exactly what I'm trying to do here. I like to diversify my asset as much as possible. Real estate, depending on where you are, if you can afford it, 100%. It's probably my biggest investment, I'd say. And then obviously we have stocks, and then we have crypto, and then we have forex, and all these things. So diversifying is the key to this game. Because what happens if a market crash? What happens if at least you have options? You have different things. What happens if stocks go to SHIT? You have options. You have crypto portfolio to fall back on. You have a real estate portfolio to fall back on, and there's many things that you can do these days. So just wanted to put that, and the reason why I'm having this conversation now as opposed to a few months ago is it will be a time coming up very soon where we will need to take profit, and we will need to, you know, rotate some of those money. And don't marry any of these coins. Don't marry your bag. Okay, so all these on my watch list, I don't marry any of them. I'm married to my wife, and that's it. All these coins, I don't care what they do. I will sell all of them if and when I get to that point. Okay, so aside from Bitcoin, which obviously there's a scarcity there, argument that needs to be made. There's no reason for me to hold any of these long term. ETH, Bitcoin, and to be perfectly honest, I will throw a curveball now. I will throw a curveball that you can probably start stacking up now, because I think this is what I'm, and you're probably going to say, oh yeah, you said it before, but I'm going to say it again. 4, 5, 6 years from now, you will see a dollar Casper. I am almost certain. Casper at, you know, we called it at 6 cents. That was a steal. Now we're at 9 cents. It's still a steal. This, you know, wait for pullbacks, 25% pullbacks on Casper are going to give you that long term, you know, that long term 40, 50 cents. It's programmed. I think it's not going to be this cycle. Likely, it's going to be, you know, in the next one, maybe, you know, 4 years from now, 5 years from now. But doesn't hurt putting something aside now and starting a position. Let me ask you this question: if 4 years ago, or even 8 years ago, somebody told you when Bitcoin was $1,000, start buying now, buy $1,000 Bitcoin, you would have gone, oh man, that feels like a lot, $1,000. Well, look what happened 8 years later. We're at $100,000. So you wish you bought Bitcoin at $1,000, right? So this is the kind of switch that you have to have as an investor versus a trader. So like if you are looking at investing, you're talking years, not weeks. Does it make sense in the chat? Why Casper? Great question, Pat. Casper works very similar to Bitcoin. It's a proof of work, so it needs to be mined. It's not, and it was an absolute fair launch. Just no capital, no VC involved. Same as Bitcoin. It was the only way you could get Casper when it first came out was proof of work. So you had to mine it, and still to this day you mine it. There is halvings. There's tokenomics pretty much similar to what Bitcoin has, and further to that, you got to think, okay, so I've got, and this is where it's really cool to understand, you know, how to think outside the box. Think about all the companies that are currently mining Bitcoin, right? There's many of them, and we trade them. Most of their revenue right now, it relies on Bitcoin. What happens in 1, maybe 2 halvings from now, where their reward of that Bitcoin gets diminished more and more? They need to come through new assets, different assets that allow them to still make a revenue, right? And sorry, I've got someone in the background. They need to be able to come with this revenue models somehow, and Casper is it. So there's a couple of companies now that have publicly declared that they're not just mining Bitcoin anymore, they're also mining Casper. So you're still in the mining business, but you're diversifying your assets right now. So we are witnessing, I think, the start of something with Casper at 6 cents. And mind you, this is at 6 cents. Like if you were an early investor in Casper, which I wasn't personally, it was way too early for me. Casper started off down here, like at 0.002. Like even if when you had an insane pull up, it was 4 cents, and then he went all the way to 22 cents. So this was this thing has already ran like crazy, right? Like a 5,000% gain. But that's right. That's exactly right. Relevant. Mara, which is obviously a mining company, Bitcoin mining company, they publicly declared that they are mining Casper as well for that reason. So I hope that answered the question, Pat. Why Casper? It does absolutely make sense. Soul pumping. All right, let's have a look. All good, man. All good, Chianti. I'll never forgive you for that, but No, I'm joking, Pat. Just joking. Of course. Yep, cool. All right. Well, and if I have zero problem with being stopped out, we've just been through it, right? You can DCA the sold short, or you can just, when I have these two entries, 1 and 2, the way I play them is 0.5% here, 0.5% here. So at all time, my risk is 1%. Am I willing to risk 1% on my account? Yes. Do I get upset if I get stopped out for 1% on my account? No. Do I get upset if I lose 20% on my account? Probably. So this is why, that was horrible. This is why we never ever go big on any trade, because the market can prove you wrong every single time. Okay, so don't risk too much. 1%, 2%, 3% maximum. 0.5% in 2 trades, perfectly acceptable. If you wanted to go big, you can do 1% here. So no, it's not stopped yet. The stop is at 207. So I'm not, when you trade for a number of years, you see these things. It's, there's a chance that comes back up here, reverses, and then it continues back down. So you can see there's highs up here. There's liquidity. So there's also a chance that might come back down, and then it absolutely BLONK down. Yeah. So 3% is the absolute maximum for me. I think I can count on one hand the amount of times that I've gone 3% on a trade. So only trade crypto futures and memes, all abstract. So I'm just reading back onto the chart. Still holding Nike. Yep. So Nike was another great play that we think. We'll see here. So we call Nike all the way down here. So we are still very much a profit. Give us a second. It's my stock decides to just go a little bit slow sometimes. Come on. So this is the power of stocks. This is when we call Nike. You can see we called it at $54. It's now at $78, and we called it in March. So stocks are long term, and real wealth is built over time. It doesn't come tomorrow or next week. It's over time. So get into the habit of being okay in parking some money and just watching it grow. Your $54 on Nike, when we come up to 120, it's going to look real good. And imagine how it's going to look when we come back to 170. And, all-time high eventually will happen. So we'll see. Okay? So anything like that? What is that? Well, Casper, yeah, we've gone through that. I'm up 20%. Yep. At the time, it was at COVID lows. And there's a few stocks, man. There's a few stocks. Like another one that we called, and we are up as well. I'm just not going through all the stocks that we called, because we called pretty much all of these, and almost all of them are up. So go back and watch the calls if you want. But yeah, another one that we called very, very recently was Etsy. Same reason, if you remember. COVID candle, boom, 2020 lows. This was our entry on Etsy. Right here, $43. Entered the COVID candle, 0 drawdown pretty much. It went down to 40. We are currently up 58%. The call was in September. Entry was tapped in March. So we're now in August. We're up almost 60% on the stock. So it's really important to understand, and what RIVN is trying to say is really important to understand where we are at a macro level. Which is why I'm looking at some other stocks as well, because they are very much at an all-time low, but not all-time low, but like a macro low. So that is pretty much all I wanted to cover today. We covered a fair bit, I'd say. So I hope you didn't mind going into the taking profit mentality, and we talked about few different other things, diversifying and whatnot. So yeah, exciting times ahead, fam. Exciting times. Bitcoin, awesome. Barney, I'm so glad that you enjoyed it. I'm so glad. Thank you for tuning in live, fam. I always appreciate each and every one of you for giving us the time. I don't take it for granted ever. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Love having it, love being with you guys here. So absolutely grateful. And yeah, look, keep the soul open, of course. Don't get scared of drawdown. You know, we basically need to be able to get into the mindset of when we enter a trade, that capital is gone. So you're not upset about, you know, being stopped out. Don't ever get stopped out. So, yeah. So let's see what the market gives us, and yeah, let's just manage the other trades that we have open properly. Love it. Thanks, team. Let's win together. Love it. Have a great rest of your day, night, whatever you are. See you next week. Bye.